Welcome to The Explainer. So, have you ever wondered why some people literally always seem to be like 3 steps ahead of everyone else? Today, we're diving into exactly that. We are decoding the secret to high IQ anticipation. We're going to look at these absolutely fascinating parallels between human psychology and advanced adaptive artificial intelligence. We're exploring the real architecture of that adaptive intelligence, focusing on the massive difference between a mind that simply collects random facts and a mind that actually understands deep underlying systems. Okay, let's dive into this. Are you reacting or are you anticipating? Think about your daily habits for a second. Most of us just kind of move through life reacting to whatever gets thrown our way, right? Information comes in and a response comes out. It's very much like playing checkers. You're just reacting to the last move the other person made. But a grandmaster, they're playing the board 5 moves out. They aren't waiting around for a script to tell them what to do. They're actively anticipating the board before the pieces even shift.
So, to really understand how they pull this off, we've got to look at what holds most people back. Section 1, the fact-based trap.
You see, low-level thinking often stops right at the surface. People get completely stuck just memorizing random facts and arbitrary labels. And honestly, it's a biological dead end. Your brain is literally hardwired by nature to dump random meaningless information almost instantly just to save energy. It's exactly why you might completely forget a person's name literally 2 seconds after shaking their hand, but you can effortlessly remember their entire life story if they actually tell it to you in a compelling way. The human brain craves narrative. It craves meaning. It's going to flush out the knowing what if there isn't a really strong foundation of knowing why. High-level systems thinking aligns perfectly with how our brains naturally want to work, completely bypassing the sheer exhaustion of rote memorization.
And that brings us here. Intelligent thinking actively digs into the reasons behind an event. Instead of just noting what happened, an anticipatory mind asks, okay, but why did it happen? This one little shift in questioning, it's an absolute superpower. It allows your brain to build these robust cause and effect chains. So you're no longer just frantically stuffing loose papers into a filing cabinet, you're actually wiring a whole network. It moves you entirely away from the trap of memorization and catapults you into true systemic understanding.
And once you break out of that trap, you hit the next phase. Section 2, building the world picture.
Let's move to and see how this builds out in practice. We call this context building. Advanced AI systems, like Autonomy, which is designed to proactively manage massive complex networks, they don't react, they predict, and they do it by actively constructing a comprehensive model of the whole situation using a few specific steps. First, it asks, what is changing in my environment? Second, what is connected to that specific change? And third, based on those connections, what could logically happen next? These 3 steps build a complete world picture. Instead of just staring at one isolated event, you're basically evaluating the entire landscape in advance. And the result? Well, because your response is informed by that entire environment, and not just one localized little blip, your final decision isn't just fast, it is vastly superior. It's incredibly accurate. This is exactly how you stop getting blindsided at work or in your personal life. You aren't caught off guard anymore because, well, you've already mapped out the terrain. You've modeled the whole situation rather than just collecting a handful of random data points.
Which brings us to the next level of intelligence. Section 3, connecting signals into patterns. Having a world picture is great, sure, but the human mind hits its absolute maximum power when it starts connecting seemingly unrelated things that everyone else just completely misses. To a highly trained mind, isolated tasks basically disappear. Instead, timing connects directly to behavior. That behavior then connects to a specific risk, and that risk ultimately connects to a real consequence. Let's look at a super practical example. Say you have a delayed email. That's the timing. That leads to rushed work. That's the behavior. Rushing increases the chance of an error. There's your risk, which could result in a lost client, the ultimate consequence. So you don't just see a random delay, you see this entire coherent, predictable pattern mapping out right in front of you.
And having this interpretive layer is an absolute game changer. It allows the systems thinker to instantly evaluate the significance of massive amounts of incoming data. While a typical fact-based thinker is getting totally overwhelmed by every tiny detail, the systems thinker is expertly separating the meaningful, relevant signals from the distracting, irrelevant noise. You know exactly what to pay attention to simply because you know what actually fits into the pattern.
But, what happens when our prediction is just plain wrong? That brings us to Section 4, Mastering Error-Based Learning.
Honestly, how we process our mistakes is arguably the single most critical component of adaptive intelligence. Reframing how we view wrong moves is literally the fast track to improving your reasoning and seeing patterns before anyone else does.
In traditional rigid thinking, making a mistake is a failure, right? It's an ending, it's a source of shame. But in adaptive AI systems and in highly intelligent human minds, a wrong move is never a failure. It is simply feedback. Think about it. An AI doesn't feel shame or a bruised ego when it crashes a simulated car 1,000 times. It just updates its algorithm and tries again. Humans need to do exactly the same thing. When you strip the emotion out of a mistake and just view it purely as structural data for adaptation, your ability to learn accelerates exponentially.
I absolutely love this quote from our source material. Real intelligence isn't found in your first reaction, but in your second response. Seriously, take a second and think about that for yourself. When you mess up, does it actually change your future behavior? Your first reaction might naturally be super defensive, and hey, we're human, that happens. But your second response, your calm, analytical review of the feedback, that is where your true intelligence actually shines.
To back that up, consider this follow-up insight. Failure isn't damaging, avoiding reflection is. By calmly reviewing what went wrong, totally without judgment, you activate true error-based learning. This process literally teaches your brain to catch those warning signs so much earlier the next time you face a similar situation. You are continuously optimizing your own internal algorithms.
And this brings us to the climax of our explainer today. Section 5, Thriving in Complex Chaos.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it reveals the ultimate paradox of systems thinking, why complexity actually makes advanced thinkers sharper rather than slower. It all comes down to selective organization. This is the instinctual ability to recognize what really matters and completely ignore what does not, within connected patterns. Most people, and actually traditional machines too, slow down drastically when things get complicated. More variables usually just mean more confusion. But when your mind is built around connected patterns, you filter out the noise in real time. You are selectively organizing the chaos right as it happens.
Because of that selective organization, adding new complexity actually improves clarity for a systems thinker. It just adds richer data to the pattern. Experienced thinkers operate faster in chaos, not despite it, but absolutely because of it. Pressure doesn't overload these minds, it sharpens them to a razor's edge. They can take completely chaotic environments and turn them into beautifully clear, structured models of anticipation.
Conclusion: the ultimate advantage. Let's bring all of this together. Anticipation truly is the ultimate human advantage. By making that shift from collecting facts to understanding systems, from merely reacting to actively predicting, we completely elevate ourselves. We transition from being passive victims of circumstance, just waiting around for instructions, to becoming the actual architects of our own outcomes. So, I want to leave you with this provocative question. Will you remain a passive tool, just reacting to the world, or will you become an anticipatory force? Once you start to grasp the systems that actually drive the world, you stop just observing simple behavior, and you start decoding the complex minds and patterns that most people literally never even notice. If you are ready to break your old scripts and build a mind truly built for anticipation, hit subscribe and join us. We've got plenty more systems to decode. See you in the next explainer.